But that's where we are in the sequence based on scripture. Okay, so we are talking about the man of perdition right now. So we're here in the timeline.
How's the man of perdition?
Good.
Right?
Okay. All right, we're going to turn to Revelations chapter 20. And we're going to go from verses 4 to 6. Revelations chapter 20, verses 4 to 6.
His family.
So now, like I said, we're going to go from verse 4 to 6. And this is when it's not in chronological order. It jumps from a time period. So now we're about to read when Christ comes and set his kingdom, establish his kingdom here on earth. So it's going to jump from a different time period. It's not written in order.
All right, this is Revelations chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the world, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
So it's talking about reigning with Christ 1,000 years, but that's not literal 1,000 years. When Christ's kingdom set up, it's going to be forever. It's not going to be just 1,000 years. And I'm going to show you a couple of precepts how this 1,000 years is also talking about eternity. So let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 18 and start at verse 9.
That's on page 3. Page 3, everyone. That's the word. Please explain what the man of perdition means.
This is Ecclesiasticus, because this is in the Apocrypha, chapter 18, and we're going to start at 9, and we're going to do 9 and 10, verses 9 and 10. This is Ecclesiasticus 18, verse 9. Everybody good? All right. And this is Ecclesiastes 18, verse 9. The number of a man's days at the most are 100 years, as a drop of water unto the sea, and the gravestone and the gravelstone, and a gravelstone in comparison of the sand. So are 1,000 years to the days of eternity.
And you see 1,000 years is also equal to the days of eternity. So when it said you're going to reign with Christ for 1,000 years, it's basically saying reign for him eternity. When Christ comes, that's going to be it. There's going to be no more wars and stuff after that. This kingdom is going to be an everlasting kingdom. So when you see the 1,000 years reigning with Christ, it's talking about eternity.
So you want me to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, you can.
All right, so let's go back to the board because I missed a few things here. So we're talking about here, but we're down in here now. But I want to kind of elaborate a little bit here. So the children of Israel is in captivity and in bondage now. This is the present time. That's what we are. We're in bondage now, right? In the time zone. All right. Esau is ruling right now. Esau is ruling. All right. So as we go through the timeline, and when we get to the 1,000-year reign, we will reign with Christ. Esau will be in captivity. You see the difference? See, God is a just God. So we are living out our sentence right here in this time. we're gonna go through the Jacob's trouble here, and we will reign 1,000 years with Christ. Esau will be in captivity at that point. Everybody good with this so far? Scripture is speaking. It's not from our interpretation. Okay? Any questions?
Figure out how to time this.
What would be the difference between that captivity and Jacob's trouble?
Well, Jacob's trouble is this here when we're going to go through trial and tribulation, doing that turmoil. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars and going on. And we're going to have Magog war. During that period of time, we would be in the wilderness maybe, or out there trying to survive somehow. But this is that moment. Go ahead.
Is Jacob's trouble the nuclear fallout? Would that be Jacob's trouble, or has Jacob's
It's
trouble?
gonna be like going into a leading right up to it.
Let me finish my question. I'm sorry.
Can you get the mic so we can?
Let me see.
Yeah.
Is that microphone?
I was saying, is Jacob's trouble like the Great Tribulation, or has Jacob's trouble started since 70 AD and we've been in trouble since that moment? And then, I guess Jacob's trouble, he's saying that we will be saved out of it. So would that be nuclear destruction, or is that comprised of everything?
It's really comprised of everything. It's also going to be about the nuclear destruction, but Jacob's trouble has been going on for a while, and you see it just ramped up a couple months ago, how you got ISIS coming out here and grabbing up our brothers, the Mexicans and stuff like that. That's also the start of also Jacob's troubles, and that's going to spin right back on us too at some point. But you've seen it now, how they just captured our brothers and sisters and just doing whatever they want to them, send them into, what's that, Guantanamo Bay or something? Guantanamo Bay. So that's stuff leading up. It's just going to intensify and get worse.
Time. That's time now.
And from there, I don't know if everything's on order on the sheet, but let's go to Revelations 10 and 7.
Revelations chapter 10 and verse 7. Alright, this is Revelations 10 and verse 7. It reads, "But in the days of the voice of the seven angels, and when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he have declared to his servants the prophets."
So this is basically saying when the seventh angel sound the seventh trumpet, Christ is going to be coming down here, and everything's going to be finished, and the mystery of God is going to be revealed. But it's still people that's atheists saying there ain't no God, but on that day, they going to know, everybody's going to know the mystery of God, and God is for real. Now this is also going into that Revelations 24-6, that Christ's kingdom got to be set up, but before that, certain events has to happen before his kingdom is set up. And let's go to Daniel 2 and 44, that shows that also his kingdom is going to be forever. I know how we just read it's 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is eternity. But Daniel also is going to talk about his kingdom. He's going to let you know it's going to be everlasting kingdom.
All right, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, 44, verse 44. And it reads, "And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever."
So when Christ sets up his kingdom is going to be forever. But in order that to take place, all the other kingdoms around the world got to be destroyed. You got to destroy the beast. All the other nations, their kingdoms is have to fall for Christ's kingdom to rise.
Yeah.
So from there, let's go to Daniel 7 and 18.
You want to?
You got something?
I was going to say, let's talk about the kingdom that we're talking about.
Okay.
So, the kingdom that we're talking about here is, and we didn't get to that yet, but these kingdoms, the 7 heads and the 10 horns. So those are the kingdoms that we're talking about when we're talking about the kingdom that he's gonna destroy when he comes. And this would be the latter end, which is from the Nebuchadnezzar statue, that is the 10 toes. So you have 10 common markets, which is the 10 horns. That's the kingdom what we're talking about. So I just wanted to kind of go back to that part, but
Can you-
we didn't get there
You want to
yet.
read it?
Yeah,
Their
can you read
names?
that, cause they can't see it.
Okay, so
The
the-
kingdoms is gonna be.
Okay, the 7 heads, which we didn't get to that yet, I just shown you the kingdoms that is gonna be destroyed at this point. But the 7 heads would be Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Greece, Great Britain, and Russia. Okay, that's the 7 heads. The 10 horns, which is the 10 common markets as we know them, right? Is Belgium, Germany, Greece, Italy, Great Britain, Luxembourg, Denmark, Netherlands, Ireland, and France. That's the 10 common market as we know them today. And these are the kingdoms that's going to be destroyed when Christ comes. Just to give you an overview as to who the kingdom are. We didn't get to this yet, but I just want to give you guys that breakdown so you know what we're talking about.
This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18. And it reads, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever."
Question, who are the saints?
We are saying, Revelation 14. You got it.
Can you say that in the mic again?
Question for the class. You said the saints are going to rule the earth. And my question to you is, who are the saints that's going to rule forever and ever?
Okay, the saints are us, the Israelites. I'm gonna give you a Bible verse to prove it. This is Psalms 50 and verse 5. Everybody turn to Psalms 50 and verse 5. It's gonna tell you who are the saints.
This is Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5. And this is about who are the saints. And it reads, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice."
So the saints are the people that made a covenant to God by sacrifice. You know, when you read out the Bible, the Israelites is the only one that made a covenant to God by sacrifice. So when you say who are the saints are the Israelites. So going back to the Daniel, the saints is going to be the ones who are going to take the kingdom forever and ever. And as the shows and prove, it's not just going to be 1,000 years like it's read out in Revelation. It's going to be forever and ever. Everybody got that? Understand who the saints are and everything?
So when that song, when the saints come marching in,
All right, we're going to Revelation chapter 16 and verse 17.
Yeah, into the air. I did get a great voice. I was
I just realized, you
All
know,
right, this is Revelation chapter 16 and verse
because I don't know
17.
that's what it means. Oh Lord, I want to be in
in the seventh angel.
Everybody good?
the for the wisdom, Lord.
All right, and it reads, verse 17, and it reads, "And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done."
So when this God said it is done, I mean everything's gonna be finished. Like I said, when we read back in Revelations, when you read through, if you read it like in order, it's gonna be more stuff after the 1,000-year reign with Christ. It's gonna seem like it's gonna be another fight, it's gonna be another war. That's why I said it jumps in different time periods. So I'm just proving that when we get there, When God said it's done, it's going to be finished when His kingdom set up. So you'll see when we go back to Revelation and read down, it's going to read like it's going to be other things happening after His kingdom set up, but it's just jumping in different time periods.
End of time.
So when we go back into our land, it's things that must take place first before the kingdom is set up. Like the land gotta be cleansed and pured out in the land. Like if y'all remember the story when we first went into Jerusalem, it was the Hamites living there, and God said, kill off all the Hamites and kill the even our cattle, the women and children, because the land gotta be purified. And that's a law and a commandment that before we go on our land, the land must have been cleansed. So we're gonna read that real quick in Numbers 35.
This is Numbers 35 and verse 33. All right, 33, 34. All right, this is Numbers 35, and we're going to start at verse 33. All right, it reads, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. 34. Defile not therefore the land which ye shall inhabit, wherein I dwell. For I, the Lord, dwell among the children of Israel.
So before we go back into that land, it must be bloodshed from that land that people that occupy the land.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to see who occupies that land now. So go to Luke, I think it's 21:24.
You said Luke.
Yeah, Luke 21:24.
All right, this is Luke chapter 21, and we're going down to verse 24. 24, yes, ma'am. All right, this is Luke chapter 21 and verse 24, and it reads, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So, you know, we got killed by the edge of the sword in 70 AD when Rome came and took over the temple. And you see now they're occupying that land to the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So we just read that for order that land to be cleansed, it must be bloodshed for our blood for us to go back in the land. So that has to take place before his kingdom gets established.
Can I add something to that?
Can I add something to that, Pat?
Yeah.
So in that verse, right, Luke 21:24, it says that the children of Israel will be led away captive and killed by the sword, will be led away captive into all nations, right? This is when Christ is on the scene. Christ saying this. He said the Gentiles will be trodden down Jerusalem until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, which means that we will be scattered in every nation until Christ returns. So the people that live in Jerusalem now, the Ashkenazi Jews who are prophesied to be in the land until he comes back, he said we would be scattered and they would be there. The Gentiles will be trodden it down. So know that right now in Jerusalem today, the Gentiles are in Jerusalem and we are scattered. So that's another reason why we know that we're these people, because we was the only people who were led away captive into all nations coming out of Africa. So when people be like, well, everybody was a slave, we're talking about a particular group of people who came out of Africa. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
They said they ready, bro.
So y'all want to do a little intermission?
Yeah.
Let's do a little intermission.
I did this on the lesson. I'm gonna read this now. So let's go to Ezekiel 39.
That's not on the sheet, right, Pat?
Yeah, it was at the bottom, but I
It
just
is?
want to reiterate something real quick.
Okay.
That's 38 on the bottom.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be 39.
That should be 39.
What, page 5?
Okay, I see 39 right here. 39 what, 6?
Page 5 on the worksheet.
Yeah.
39 and 6, yeah.
See, yeah, 39 and 6, yeah.
Yeah. It's on your worksheet, on page 5.
And that's
Yeah, all right, verse 12.
And
This we gonna be going,
39.
okay, in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39, and we're gonna start at verse 12. Okay, we're just gonna read verse 12. Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 12. 39 verse 12. And it reads, "And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of," let me read that again. "And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea," this verse 13. "Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them as a renown the day that I shall be glorified, saith the Lord God."
All right, this is going into the God can make God, what we're going to get to later. But I was just showing you that, in Numbers that we read, that their bloodshed got to be, the one that defile the land, their blood got to be shed for us to cleanse the land and go back in it. And we read that the Gentiles are in the land now, but we're going to be burying their bodies for 7 months. That's how many people are going to be getting killed. But it's going to take 7 months to bury all their bodies for us to go back in our land and cleanse. And this is all leading up until Christ's kingdom for us to go back in the land. This must have to take place.
All right, we're gonna go to book.
46.
We're gonna go to the book of Psalms, chapter 46.
What page
And
is that?
verse 8. Psalms,
Is it
I
up?
don't know if it's on the page. Is it?
Page 4, 40, Psalm 46 and 8. Psalms,
Psalms 46 and 8.
it's on page 4 on your worksheet,
Yeah, on top.
at the top.
All right, yeah, it's on the worksheet. Psalms 46 and verse 8.
Tell me who the word of the desolation he had laid in the earth.
All right, it reads, this is Psalms chapter 46 and verse 8. And it reads, "Come, behold the works of the Lord, which desolations he hath made in the earth."
He made war to cease unto the end of the
All right,
earth.
verse 8. "Come, behold the works of the Lord, which desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariots in fire. But still, and know that," "be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge." Shalom.
So this is going into, it's going to be no more wars on earth. So when Christ's kingdom get established, it's going to be forever peace, forever and ever. So like I said, when we go back to Revelations 20, you're going to read straight through. It's going to seem like it's going to be another fight, another war with the God and Magog. But all that's got to take place before Christ's kingdom gets set up. Okay, so from there, let's go to 2nd Ezra 8, verse 52 and 53.
Page 4.
Yeah, Second Ezra, chapter 8, verse 52. We're going to be going down to 54. And it reads, "For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenty is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. Sir, all right, 54. Sorrows are past, and in the end is showed the treasures of immortality."
So basically, all evil and wickedness is going to be sealed up. Like I said, it's going to be no wickedness on earth. It's going to be peace, no more wars. All this is going to be established when Christ comes down to reign. Yeah, definitely is. So let's go to Zechariah 3, verse 9 and 10.
Okay, it's on the paper. Zechariah 3, chapter 3, and verses 9 and 10. And it reads, "For behold, the stone that I have laid before Joshua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold, I will engrave the graven thereof, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. In that day, says the Lord of hosts, shall ye call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree."
Yeah, so all iniquity and wickedness is going to be sealed up and removed out of the land. So it's going to be forever peace. So let's jump over to what's the next one? Zechariah. What they got? 14. Yeah, Zechariah 14, verse 16 and 19.
Yeah, that's on your worksheet too. This is Zechariah chapter 14. And we're going to start at verse 16. And it reads, "And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which come against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacle. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of the nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles."
So this is after, like I said, after the World War III and the Gog and Magog war. Christ's kingdom is going to be set up, but it's going to be a remnant of the heathen, other nations. That's going to be. He's going to keep a remnant of the other nations to rebuild our kingdom. They got to replenish all the other kingdoms of the earth. It's going to be destroyed, but through a period of time, they're going to reestablish and rebuild all that. But also, we're going to teach them. That's what we're going to teach them their laws, and they're going to serve our God with us. And they're going to come up and keep the Feast of Tabernacles and all the other feasts that we keep. They're going to keep also. That's all.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject and just add to what you just said. Just to reiterate, we keep our feast days. It's like 7 high holy days throughout the course of the year, which is the Feast of Tabernacle, the Passover, Purim, the Day of Atonement, all of these, the Feast of Dedication. So in the kingdom, we're still going to be keeping these feast days. So we're rehearsing the righteous acts now, and we're keeping God's commandments and keeping His laws. So we're doing this right now, and we're going to continue to do this in the kingdom. So it's a continuation. So when people say that the God's laws are done away with, they're not, because we're going to keep continuing to do his laws in the kingdom. Thank you.